All power to the people. I'm General Babu Omawali of the People's New Black Panther Party, and also co-founder of the Huey P Gun Club. And today what we're going to be covering is firing stances. What I notice when I go to the gun range, there's a lot of people of color that are shooting, but they're using improper technique. So today we're going to be going over proper stances, proper grips, proper sightings, and proper trigger pull. The first stance we're going to cover is going to be the isosceles firing stance. Of course, isosceles means triangle with two even sides. What we're going to clear this weapon, make sure we're using a clear weapon in the video. And isosceles, both of your feet are basically even together. Your hands are basically even together, and as you'll notice, all my front side is being exposed in the isosceles shooting stance. That's one of the bad things that people say about the isosceles, is that it exposes all of your front side, but this is usually the side, if you have some type of vest, this is usually the side that's usually covered. So again, this is the isosceles stance. You want to make sure you have a slight bend in your knees with your butt down. You want to make sure that you're pushing out forward towards your target. This is the common stance used by a lot of police departments around the country. The second stance that we're going to discuss is a modified isosceles, and they call this stance the Weaver stance. Now the Weaver stance is similar to a fighting stance with one foot slightly behind the other one. A lot of fighters know this stance, and it's also used in a technique in football with offensive linemen when they basically get down in a set position. So the Weaver stance, you have one foot slightly behind the other foot. Now, in the Weaver, you want to clear it? In the Weaver stance, you have one foot slightly behind the other, the arms pushing out, one arm pulling in. And when I'm saying pushing out and pulling in, what that does is it helps against the recoil of the weapon. So this is the Weaver stance. Again, the Weaver stance is similar to an offensive lineman being down in his pass rush position, or a fighter being in his fighter stance. So again, we're covering the isosceles, which is basically with your feet parallel to each other, the arms pushed out. The isosceles stance, which is a very, very accurate stance, but again, it exposes a lot of the body. The Weaver stance, which is more like a fighting stance or an offensive lineman down in his pass rush stance. The Weaver stance. So after that, now we're going to discuss how you actually hold the weapon in your hand. We're going to discuss the grip. So now that you found your stance, you have to be able to hold the weapon properly. So we're going to get a little closer in so you can see. And this is what we're doing as far as the grip on the weapon. You want to put the shooting hand under the lip of the gun at a 45-degree angle. You want to bring your other thumb down and cover the fingers. Maybe I need to take my gloves off so you can have a better interpretation of what it is that I'm showing you. Put that on the ground. Come out these gloves. You can edit this. You want to make sure you got the right hand right under the lip if you're right-handed. Notice I don't have my finger on the trigger on the opposite side. And at a 45-degree angle, you want to bring the other hand covering. And what you have here is basically a thumb over thumb grip, thumb under thumb grip. It's very good against the recoil because you pull in. When I was talking about the push-pull motion, you pull in with your weak hand and you push out with your strong hand. And what this does, it enables stability when you're going through the firing motion. So this is your basic grip. Now, this is the grip that I like to use. I like to use a more modified grip, a grip that I learned when I start my shooting. It's the same grip with the right hand, but I like to use the cup. Now, a lot of instructors probably going to get on me about teaching this but it was at one time a very popular hand grip, and this is also the grip that you use with a revolver as well. I use the cup where I take my thumb and I fold it over the other thumb for stability. I press out with my right hand and I pull in with my left. Again, that's going to control my recoil. So here are your two grips, 45-degree angle, thumb layered over thumb, and the one that a lot of people are going to frown on about me teaching is the cup, thumb holding this thumb in place, which to me gives me a much firmer grip. Okay, so now we're keeping this very basic. Now we're going to go over the actual. I want you to take a look at this. I want you to take a look at this. This is the sights, and what we're focusing on the sights. We're focusing on this front sight. Now, a lot of people want to focus you on the front sight, but you cannot ignore the back sights. The back sights are basically going to be the sides of your target. The front sight is going to put you in alignment. So using the back sights, you get a clearer sight to the front sight, which is actually going to be on the alignment of your target. So I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds, get you a look at this. Okay, now going in, what we're going to do, we're using our weaver stance, we're using our modified grip, and we're pressing out and we're pulling in. We're focusing in on that front sight. Wherever you put that front sight, that's where your bullet is going to end up. Now, you can't have your gun at an angle, you can't have it down unless you're shooting downward, and you can't have it up. You want to have your pistol leveled off, okay? Leveled off, concentrate on that front sight. So from this point, we've discussed the stance, we've discussed the grip, and we've discussed how important it is for you to concentrate on your front sight. And ending this session, what we want you to concentrate on now is we want you to concentrate on your pistol squeeze. On your pistol squeeze, you want to make sure that you don't put too much of your squeezing finger when you're squeezing your trigger, okay? You don't want to put too much finger on that. The reason is, if you got too much finger in there, you got your whole finger in there. When you squeeze off on the trigger, you're going to pull to the right. If you don't have enough of your finger in there, you're going to just jerk to the left. So you want to make sure that you have a very good amount of finger on the trigger, and that's going to help you in your placement of the bullet. So that's what we've had in our class today. All power to the people. We appreciate you for joining us, and we're going to continue to put out relevant information. Again, I'm Babu Omawali, co-founder of the Huey P. Gun Club, and this is what we do. All power to the people.